And welcome to my first video that I will be doing and posting on YouTube. How to contact models. What is good, guys? My name is Matt Pearson and today I'm going to take you through how to contact models for photography or not to slide into their DMs, but mainly to just boost your photography portfolio or creative portfolio, whatever that may be. So what I'm going to do is share with you some do's and don'ts for this topic, and I'm going to give you some conversation examples that I've had with models that have led to me successfully organising a shoot with them when I've never met them before in my life. So it's going to be really interesting. I haven't been in this game for long at all, only like 6 months, so some examples of me starting out back in summer, and the things I've learned so far. I just want to share this process with you. So the first thing, we're going to talk about is do's. So here's a little tip. If you're visiting a certain area, say I'm going to LA in January, so it's likely that what I'll do is target hashtags in that area, A, to find out good locations, but B, people are going to hashtag LA model if they're models in LA. So target hashtags in that area in order to find yourselves models. That would be the first step. And also B, use agencies that work out of that area. So if I'm going to LA, on Google I just type in LA models and LA modeling agency, and I'd find the first few big agencies in LA. I'd then go onto their website. I would then click on the new faces board, and on there is going to be a list of new faces of models that are either just getting into the game or haven't been doing it for very long. And I will then find a model that I like the look of. I'll then find them on Instagram, and I'll then DM them through Instagram. The reason I do it through Instagram is Instagram's my portfolio, so it's going to look better. They'll be able to see my work straight away. And I always usually get a better response through Instagram. So that'd be a massive tip for you in order to contact models, The reason I do new face models at this stage of my career is because I don't have a massive following and I'm still improving and trying to improve. My work's still not that great. So in order for a new model is likely to say yes because they won't have worked with loads of big name photographers. A lot of the girls on the main board pages are obviously doing big shoots regularly for big brands and they're working with the best photographers out there, whereas the new faces are in a similar situation to you and I, where they're just getting into the game and they're gonna be more likely to say yes. So that's my first do. Second one is try to personalize the message with a name, and also maybe talk about what they've been up to recently. So if you followed them for a little while and you've just seen that they've been to New York, be like, hey X, hope you had a really good time in New York last week. It looked awesome. I just wanted to ask, blah, 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 blah. We'll come on to some conversation examples in a moment. The third tip I have is express a short time period. Now, you've got to reinstate that it's not a massive time commitment for them. A model could be like, oh, they might want to shoot with me all day, but as you'll see in my messages, in fact, I'll show you one now. So say the first one we look at is with my friend Deborah. So I've shot multiple times with Deborah now, and a friend of mine has, and this was a model that I contacted when I first moved down to London, and I was just trying to build my portfolio up because I really needed to, because I was getting no work. So I messaged Deborah. She had 50,000 followers, so I thought it was a bit of a long shot her saying yes back, but she replied a few days later, and so we've shot some stuff together. But as you'll see in there, I said if you had a few hours spare. So what you need to reinstate to the model is that it's not going to take all day. I mean, I'd even say 1 or 2 hours. I think in some of the messages I even say if you've got 1 or 2 hours spare. You've got to reinstate the fact that it's not going to take them all day and it's not going to be a massive time commitment for them. It's not going to take up half of the day. It's literally going to be 1 or 2 hours if they've got it spare. And then they're more likely to say yes, I find. From a model's perspective, I think that, if she gets a message saying, oh, if you've got 1 or 2 hours spare, she's probably thinking, or he's probably thinking, Yeah, you know what? I actually do have 1 or 2 hours spare on Monday. Whereas they're probably, if they're sat there thinking, do I have half a day to give on a Monday? Probably not. So if you like reinstate that it's a short time period, then I think, you know, you'll get a much better result in my opinion. Okay, next one. I've already touched about this briefly on the first point, but start with new faces until you build that reputation. So until you've got, you know, like a big following and you're shooting with a lot of models, you'll start to build a reputation within the industry, and then I think that's when you can move on to like models that, you know, aren't new faces and have been doing it for a long time. I have still shot with like models that aren't new models. So Deborah, for example, she was not a new face at all. I think she's pretty established. She's doing loads of jobs for loads of different people, but that was just like, look, she liked my work, and that's why we got to shoot together. So yeah, so that's my 4th tip. And my 5th and final tip, it would be try and put like a little picture board together. If your Instagram is not like full of the photos you've been taking, or is not your portfolio, then in the direct message, send your message, and then underneath maybe a little board that you can create on InDesign or something with, you know, 4 or 5 of your favourite photos of a female, if you're sending it to a female, a male, if you're sending it to a male, or just like the vibe of your work. Send that with your message. Then they're more likely to see your work straight away when they read your DM, and they'll instantly know if they want to shoot with you or not. And it just saves them having to go onto your page, scroll down your feed, trying to find something that they might like. If you've got 4 or 5 images there in one photo or in one like collage, they can instantly see what you're like as a photographer, your vibe, your style, and yeah, they can then decide for themselves if they want to shoot with you or not. Okay, now on to the don'ts. So don't send blanket messages. Now, what I mean by this is, don't be like, hey, I'm a photographer from London, blah, blah, blah. I've got time free on this day to shoot. Would you be interested? Sometimes that can work. I mean, I used to do it like back in the day. I say back in the day, like 5-6 months ago. And I was just like, why don't I take the extra time to put their name in, you know, and like ask them what they've been up to, and if they've got, just make the message more personal. Like, you want to shoot with that model because you like the look of them and you think it would fit your vibe, your style, your aesthetic. Then, you know, make your message stand out. If you're messaging like a lot of these models are getting DMs like daily or quite a lot asking them to shoot with them, so you know, you might as well go out of your way to make it better. My second don't is don't be rude, plain and simple. Be polite, be kind. If you want to get anywhere, I think in any industry, or especially the creative photography industry, you know, you need to be polite, you need to be kind. If you're rude to someone, then all it takes is this model to say, oh, he was actually really rude to me, to tell another model, and before you know it, your like reputation will start to get tarnished. So that's just something to think about there. The third don't is don't be put off when you don't get responses. Literally, so when I moved down here in summer and I was trying to get models to build my portfolio up, I reached out to like 50 models and only 3 said yes. So that's 47 models that have said no. I never got put off when I didn't get a response from them, or even if they read it and ignore me. That's the way of life. Like, maybe they're busy, maybe they don't like my work, maybe they don't want to shoot with me, who cares? Like, I've got 3 yeses so I can use them models to really like try and improve my skills and improve my work, and you know, go from there. If you send out 50 messages and you don't get any responses, that's fine, just keep going. Maybe target different audiences. So my next don't is don't target huge accounts. You know, unless you're some really experienced photographer, you've got a name in the industry, then you'll be able to do that. You're in that position to. But if you've got a small, like, your following doesn't necessarily mean anything, but if you don't have a lot of work on your page and it's not really your portfolio, and your work's not like got to that level yet, then you know, if you target it. If I message Rosie Huntington Whiteley and try and slide into her DMs, she's going to be like, well, she firstly won't read it, it'll probably go through to her agent, and secondly they'll just be like no, because there'll be like 30, 40 other photographers that are way better than me that are in the queue to shoot her. It's just the way it is. Don't try and target a Victoria's Secret model that's got like 2 million followers, because your success rate is going to be severely lower compared to if you target a new face or someone with a lot less followers. They're more likely to read your DMs, they're more likely to see that you've personalised the message, and they'll take the time to consider you. So let's look over some of these conversations I've had. So we briefly looked at the one with Deborah. The next one is with a friend of mine now called Belle. I'm like shooting stuff with her at the moment for like personal projects. So you'll build relationships with models, and if you like shooting with them, then you shoot with them again. But as you can see, I was personalised the message, put her name in, hope you're well. Was wondering if you had an hour or so spare at some point in London, we could create some cool stuff. Nice and simple, you know, an hour or so spare, reinstating that time point, and obviously it was a good response from there. Same again with another friend of mine, Misha. So I shot with her, I think she was my first shoot, my first model I shot with in London. Again, reinstated a short time period. Obviously, again, like free of charge, like let them know you want to build your portfolio up. I think we could create some really cool stuff. If you think they fit your vibe and you think you can create some cool stuff with them, reinstate that, let them know. That will get them excited. And actually, yeah, she said she's down and she needs to actually increase her urban sportswear shots for her portfolio, so it worked out perfectly. And then lastly, Anna. So again, the exact same message. Reinstate in a short time period, tell her I want to build my portfolio. I think she fits the bill for the kind of stuff that I want to shoot. And yeah, obviously another successful response. So overall, those would be my do's and don'ts when contacting models. Also some extra tips. So use your existing connections. So it doesn't necessarily have to be with models, but when I went out to New York a few weeks back, so there's a guy I know, a PT in London called Ben, and Ben was in New York for 3 months recently for work. So I just got in touch with Ben. I was like, Ben, hey, do you know anyone that's out there? He put me in touch with a couple of like fitness trainers out there, and then one of them I like the look of, so I messaged her. I was like, hey, you around to shoot? She got back to me on my last day while I was in New York, so I unfortunately couldn't shoot with her, but she was like, let me know next time you're in town and we'll sort something out. So I'll shoot with her. Like, I'm looking to go back in the next like couple of months, so I'll shoot with her next time I am back in town. So, you know, use your connections that you already have. I think that's really important. And also, if you're completely starting from the bottom and you're struggling to, why is my phone on? You're completely struggling to build any base or any portfolio, and you're starting from the ground up, everyone knows someone. So either you'll know like a model, or someone you know, a friend of yours will know a model that's not like really far on in their career, is fairly new to it. Try and like use your network, okay? And if that doesn't work, my next step would be try and target an Instagrammer. So there's so many Instagrammers out there at the moment, okay, that have a small following. So like, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 followers, and they want content free of charge in order to build their page. Utilize on that, tap into that market, and you'll be able to get fitness shots, you'll be able to get some portrait shots. Like, and who cares if they're not a professional model? Like, that's not what it's about. That's not what makes a good photo. So bear that in mind. If you can't get in contact with models, and models are what you want to shoot, if you wanted to shoot like more fitness-based stuff, there are so many fitness Instagrammers out there that would jump on the chance to, you know, create some content with you and shoot. You've just got to do the groundwork. You've just got to hustle in the DMs, reach out to people, and, you know, get in touch with them. So yeah, so I think they're my do's and don'ts. I've provided you some conversations examples that have worked for me, and yeah, I hope this information has helped you in some way if you're an aspiring photographer or creative. like I say, I've not been in the game long. I'm still learning. This is all stuff that I've learned by throwing myself out there and just trying to kind of build a name for myself. So I hope there's some takeaway points for you all. I hope you can use this information to not make the same mistakes I may have done or have done. So yeah, I just want to say thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed it and you found it helpful. And there'll be more videos coming soon. So peace out.